You're listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
Ari.
And it's me, Brian. And on this episode, we are covering anime that aired the week of July the 6th to July the 12th, 2024. Got the year right this time. Starting with The Elusive Samurai, Episode 1, May the 22nd. Thankfully, they're not all dates like most of the chapters are.
It's usually year and title of what's going on in here. So that's presuming what they will do the same way.
Because this is all, remember, 100% historically accurate. Remember that in future going watching this.
It turns out the history that you learn in school is actually way more wacky and violent than you thought.
It's about as violent as I thought, honestly, yeah.
But it's like, I just loved, again, there was like the Go Guy caliber smash cut from feudal Japan idyll to this fucking absolute hellscape. It works just as good the second time around.
Yeah.
So this is taking place, was it
13th century, I believe.
1333. Or is it on 1333 currently? It's the 1330s. The Roaring 30s, they call it.
And we're following young boy Hojo Tokiyuki. He's having first half of the episode. We're just like establishing the idyllic life that he lives.
He's running away from his responsibilities. The trainers are like, "Come on, kid, you gotta," or "Come on, our lord, you have to come and practice your archery to be a proper samurai." And he's like, "I don't wanna. I'm a child. I'm very good at running away."
He's really good at running away. I mean, like he's fucking unreal good at running away from his responsibilities. Did you see him do that wall jump? It was fucking unreal.
He's the shirkiest of responsibility, or yes. And yeah, he's a conversation with his older brother who, as he points out, is like, you should be the guy who like gets the family name, because as we both know, our father is just a figurehead. The father's just zoned out on drugs. Yes. I presume there's nothing normal about the way he's fucking zoned out of the situation. But his brother's like, no, can't be me. I'm from a concubine. You're like an official thing, and it's grand anyway, because he has a genuine love for the people. He just couldn't be arsed doing any of his responsibilities for the people.
And his dad is the regent of the Kamakura shogunate. They are the Hojo clan. His dad is clearly just a puppet at this point. He's not mentally all there.
There's something deeply wrong with him, and obviously his aides are kind of like, "Don't you think we should do this, sire?" And and he's just like drooling, and it's like, "Okay, we'll do that, sir. I'll take that as a yes." That kind of thing.
They're in some trouble with the Southern court with Emperor Go-Daigo. And then we're going to sort it out. We're going to send our best man, Ashikaga Takauji. He's the most charismatic, heroic of all of our samurais here. He's like friend of the people. He's got a real like effect on young Tokiyuki here. Oh man, you're like the fucking big brother of our dad I never had. It'd be an awful shame if you actually went all that way and then you betrayed us and came back and killed all of us. Why did what you do?
That would suck, and it does.
There is also a strange priest around Suwa Yorishige, who will become more important in the second half of the episode.
He is very holy to the point where you can't look directly at him because he's very bright. And our lazy, shirking responsibility hero is kind of like, I don't like this weird old man who's hanging out and telling me I have a great destiny. That seems like bullshit, if you ask me. But yeah.
And he's followed around by a small girl who's
constantly talking shit to him. So that does help that a bunch. Yeah.
And we see in the second half either unflinchingly or supernaturally brave in the face of carnage, as when they get loads of arrows flying at them, and she just takes a merry stroll as the arrows to her back, making no attempt to dodge them, and they just all miss.
Well, it's like your man says, he can accurately predict the future, and he knew this was going to happen, so he's just like, if I just go this way, this is the way that I don't get hit by arrows, is basically the idea behind it. And if she follows him, then presumably the same for her.
Presumably, yeah. But yes, the everything's going swimmingly. The big brother gets his ball stuck on the roof. He manages to get it off the roof. As it's falling, flash forward momentarily to the brother's head hitting the ground instead.
That's
so good. Like
it's
just
again works just as well.
And if you didn't know this kind of going in, like it would catch you really well, because it's like, oh, here are all these characters with designs. Here's the little girl who's like, I'm your betrothed, that kind of thing. Here's a weird old priest. It's like, we got our wacky cast
on fire,
in place.
just cuts to it, like, oh yeah, dead, violated and killed, dead. It's just goes just walking on down the line. Friends, family, everybody gone.
Horrific horror show, horrible. But
and then Takauji fun reveling in it all, like literally fun bodies and blood and flames around him. He's topless. He's really like getting into this.
This was his plan for years and years, but he's our most trusted guy. It's like, yep, that's the guy that'll get you.
And to speak to, he had an almost supernatural charisma about him, where people was like, they felt compelled to follow him, even in the face of their prior loyalties or responsibilities. It's like, he just had this kind of aura about him. It makes you just want to follow him and kill people for him. What's his deal?
Yeah, the priest says, hey, remember that thing I told you, a prophetic thing? I said, you're going to be a great samurai. This is your chance, kid. It's just like, oh no, I just want to die with my family. All right, pushes him off a cliff. So, good luck, kid.
Yes, while he thinks in his head thinks, oh, I should do the honourable thing about my family and commit suicide, like various members of my family have done. His body is not going to allow him to do
reflexively.
that.
Reflexively, like dodges arrows and swords and all kinds of stuff, the way he was dodging retainers trying to get him to do his homework.
The fun dodging through all these dudes and like getting them to stab each other. This is like kind of a fight scene, but he doesn't do nothing. He's just moving around.
I think my favorite one is where the dude is swinging the sword and he gets his arms chopped off, and they do that kind of flop thing when they hit the ground. I was just like, oh, that's because they're still holding the sword that they had. I was like, oh, that's really nice. Yeah, just there's a lot of gore if you hadn't picked up on that.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of the from people like that disconnect with the fun, saying, oh yeah, the kind of cute little characters here, they're being such rascals dodging around, they're making fun, I know it's warfare and all, and then cut to very graphic fucking things in there. There's just some real fucking weirdos later on. There's a dude who fucking drinks brains. There's like a guy, like, his character design is very simple. He's like, oh, he's got eyes like that, kind of like, little kind of dots, but actually he's rolled his eyes back into his head, and because he's so kill crazy.
There's some real weirdos, and there's going to be a lot more violent murders to come, and comedy, because that's what this thing does pretty well.
And historical lessons.
Because again, like he runs away from all these people trying to kill him instinctively, and runs his way back to the priest. The priest is like, fucking told you, you're exactly the hero this fucking world needs. Now to calmly jog away from this fucking carnage, not getting hit by arrows, because again, I do predict the future.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let's go.
I'm gonna make sure that you get your revenge, and you're gonna be a great samurai, etc., etc., etc. I've picked out your squad, your team, using my predictive powers. Here's a flash of them, basically. Yeah.
Yep. And then we get the end credits where everybody you saw die and some characters you've not met yet or who were doing the killing are all having a party together.
Yay!
In heaven?
Modern times.
No, this is the future. This is like the future, the time yet to be.
Yeah, it will make that joke several times over, like at the opening bit where it's like the modern day and clock fucking winding back and like, the buildings descending, that kind of shit, where it's just like in the modern day, this is the job this guy would have had, but in this world he kills people for a living, because everyone kills people for a living in this time period.
It's a very violence-based economy we're working with there, so he's got to like, it's a perfect system, but it's trying to work on it from within to improve it out from outside, and make a lot of money and kill a lot of people doing it. I also kind of liked about this is that we've had so many like the Sengoku Jedi fucking like things that I know Nobunaga not love to do, but I know all about him. I know all about that squad. This is like a period on he covers like the same level of frequencies. It's like there's actually bits I'm not as clear on in Japanese history. So I just kind of go this level of detail and we'll say fanciful kind of embellishment here.
Yeah, and it kind of feels like money pitch, where it's just like, actually, the guy who you're not supposed to be focusing on should be the real focus of the story. He's the most interesting character. That kind of fucking is just like, yeah, but like it's if you can tell the story and make that character compelling and work the narrative for that kind of thing. He'll win fights by not fighting, basically. is kind of the plan.
Well, it has this thing that's usually like this. Like there's like these kind of gaps in the history here. Like you know that he was at this incident. That's the kind of points you build a story around, and you can make anything you want happen here because not much. There's not much on record about this person. It's like, well, who's to say he didn't? He would do all the stuff and get a squad of children, and
we don't know,
kill people 3 times his size with great ease.
Yeah, it could happen.
Yeah, it's I noticed on the Japanese wiki pages there's the old it's one of these people where there's clearly like historians debating certain things about it, like survival theory is one of the sections. It's like, okay, it's one of these. Also, these are the people in this are a lot of people, historical figures who've now suddenly got on the English Wikipedia. They've suddenly now got in popular culture segments on their pages, of which the only thing is the Elusive Samurai.
It's a journal of record, so we need to have it updated constantly.
Speaking of embellishment, like Nobunaga and everyone around him, which is just like, yeah, these cunts keep fucking showing up, basically.
Yes, Nobunaga, because he may have a separate page for all his popular culture.
Probably.
I think like there was like disambiguation now. You just like or from there, it just goes up. Here are some highlights, but here's like the longer list if you want it.
Yes.
Nobunaga? Did you mean Nobunaga from Drifters? It's like no, the regular one, please.
Well, yes, but also no.
The other thing we should really drive home about this episode is it looks fantastic.
Speaking of embellishment, it looks great.
If you drop the ball a little bit after this is the fucking thing that gets you hooked. Like, this is solid fucking through. It's gorgeous, yeah. And obviously it even picks up from then in the action sequences, like the falling to his death. No, he won't, because he's too fucking escapey. Too elusive, as the title is. Like it picks up really well in those, but like overall it's just great looking top to bottom.
Yeah. This is Cloverworks again, who we just watched Windbreaker from them, and
they did half a job, Spy Family.
Yeah.
Just even scenes like like the costumes and things are great. There's lovely color palettes and patterns on them as well.
Yeah.
There's also like just very detailed patterns in the comic. They're doing their best to keep those up. But even something like this like the city ablaze and there's like the flames. There's like this like very lurid crimson quality about them. It looked again nice at putting the kind of thing into that too. I mean, just like. Again, it wasn't really a fight scene because he didn't hit anybody. It was just like, again, it's just like just dodging around. It's a good fun action scene, is what it is. Like,
yeah.
And not doing too bad. Like they're doing okay now with like the horse animation so far. There's only we have one horse ride we saw, and they're kind of good, kind of again like from like about here up on it. You can animate that bit, but as long as there's no legs involved, you can get as detailed as you want. So we'll say we get more large scale cavalry warfare. How is it going to shape up?
They can always like zoom back or like shoot them from like the waist up. There's ways of getting around the horses.
I see lots of like military movement diagrams. There's lots of those in there as well.
That's true.
And even then, a lot of it comes to like we kind of down to we kind of like face general to general, like so it goes 1-on-1s, and you kind of get vague guys surrounding them, in their own little kind of the middle of the fun battle around it. Anyway, it's all speculation. If
you want photorealistic hooved animals, that's going to be later in a different episode of a different show. So that's fine.
Is this episode of this show My Dear Friend Nokotan, episode 1, Girl Meets Deer, in which we first meet our protagonist, Toriko Koshi, also known as Koshitan, or will be when she meets somebody who's going to start calling her that. She is a former delinquent, and now she's at high school in which area part of Nara is she in? They mention it a couple of times.
They do. They mention the specific school and everything. Like,
yeah, they get more specific in the second episode. I'll try and pay
Inominami.
Yeah.
Okay.
no one has suspected that she's used to be a delinquent. She's
put that life behind her. She's in high school.
I'm going straight.
Perfect student, the idol to everyone at the school.
Head of the student council, bunch of accolades, and everyone loves her, and she sparkles as she walks. And like she's helping people out, and it's like, oh my god, she's so great. And she's like, yes, my fucking plan is working. They'll never suspect I'm a delinquent. Is that a deer-headed girl stuck in a fucking power line? That's weird.
This invites a lot of questions, but I should really get to school. Yes. Oh, I've made eye contact. No, maybe she didn't see me do that though. It's like, you go to school, leave me up here or what? It's like, oh fuck. No, I gotta deal with this.
Like the antler-headed girl stuck in the power lines. How did this happen? Where did the vultures and hyenas come from that are circling? It's just like lots of questions, no fucking answers.
We should say there's a narrator who is frequently as confused as we are watching it as to what's going on.
Yeah, he's like, that's not normal, or that kind of shit, which is, it works pretty well.
Well, he's more free to have Ron Howard interjections there, like, no one did not. No, she didn't.
Yes, so this is Noko Shikanoko, who is a dear girl, who is also starting at this school. Wouldn't you know, same class, and she's going to be sat right next to her. And the best scene in the episode is her entering the classroom, and she can't get in because her horns are too wide, so therefore she just forces her way through, destroying the wall of the door as slow motion debris flies into the classroom.
And into
the students like in the front.
Dude's nose clearly broken. You see it bend and snap right there.
And they're all just smiling.
They're all going, oh, that Nokotan, what a prankster.
And while this is happening, there is a chorus of deer going, Shika, Shika, in the background.
Like, I think one of my favorite things is the photorealistic deer reaction shots to anything that's happening. That's always good. But like, this is a show that made me laugh twice in the fucking opening. The you deer from like Dark Souls kind of thing, and when they're falling through the air, and every character except for the blonde one has a parachute. I was just like, that's pretty good. I don't think I've seen that before.
It does a good like use, like, I hope it, like, maybe laugh. So I love to keep make me laugh. It's fine. There's like that slow motion thing, like walking the door. You use that just kind of at this juncture just to kind of really drive something home. So it's like, oh, it's you, Mr. Delinquent. Oh, we're sitting next to you, and just the whole class goes, it's all turning around, like doing it. And so, her like troubled past is a problem now.
Yeah, again, she's the only normal person in the world. She's like, why is that the thing you're reacting to, rather than the door she destroyed with her antlers?
And that's the deer are also going, and they go, what?
They didn't know.
Because I've seen people complain, it's one of these, the person who shouts at somebody somebody shouting at somebody being nonsensical. Which is going to be, because that's the influence of Manzai. But the thing is, Koshitan, she has her own bits. She's not just the reactor.
She was just flat, if she was just the one normal character, it would be really boring. Which she also, like, in as much as the other characters do shouty bits, she's nearly shouting more, that kind of way. You know what I mean?
Yes. Because her bit is, I'm a delinquent, and then throughout this episode, as it becomes, will people stop commenting on my virginity?
Yeah. Because her antlers can detect delinquency and virginity, apparently. I don't know if that's like, does that cross purposes sometimes? I don't know.
Well, when it's so we didn't even need that. This is the way you talk. When you a virgin, well, see, the thing about that is, you're
that's
a virgin.
Personal question.
Go
on.
All this leads to them forming a deer club, because the teacher is a big fan of this new deer girl, but because the club is set up to look after deer, and Nokotan is a deer, she can't be president of the deer club, so Koshitan is going to have to be the president of the deer
I'm the one
club.
who has to be looked after as the deer, obviously. I mean,
you see, we're such firm friends. I founded a club where you are now forced to take care of me all the time. And
it's the social nicety thing, is like, the deer girl's clearing out a shed. I should probably give her a hand, because she's only going to fuck it up. Because
I gotta keep up this
when I went into
all.
the shed, she was bleeding out on the ground, And it's just like, I should probably help her out. And it's like, oh, now that you've helped out, the teacher's like, great, sign this fucking form. It's like, hang on a second. And it's just social niceties means she has to, and she can't use her rude delinquent voice because she keeps having to rein that the fuck in. But yeah.
Well, it's just assuming that she's very smoothly just like greasing this with the teacher telephone. Okay, sign this. Okay, sign here, and there you go. Okay, now she's got to take care of me, and we're done.
It's official. You're stuck with me.
Yes. Other important stuff is the importance of deer crackers to the people of Nara and to Nokotan.
Well, you see how to make them in the closing credits.
Yes, and the nonsensical way that Nokotan's head works. Flip top heads, detachable antlers.
Light up antlers.
Yeah.
Stab yourself in the head with the antlers.
They're a tasty snack.
Yeah.
Except they aren't.
They're not a tasty snack.
Just an antler.
Oh, the other slow-mo shot that I enjoyed is where she was repaying her for saving her from the power lines by giving her too many fucking deer crackers, and the drool coming out of her mouth. I was like, that was very well done.
A torrent of water just pours out of this.
In any other animation, it would be a beautiful waterfall, but it's coming out of a deer girl's mouth, so it's gross as shit.
It's just a scene of reaction. It was just like it's like the jaw unhinged, just goes.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
The cliffhanger is there appears to be a bestial-looking girl, furious that Nokotan
she's getting brushed,
grooming Nokotan. Yes,
should have been me. It should have been me.
Yes, we'll find out who that is next episode.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bit more of in mind now. There's already this like the tension there because you got somebody who is trying to keep their own peculiarity under wraps.
Yeah.
And she's got to like live and see someone kind of skate by who's very open about their peculiarity and no one seems to care.
That's the frustrating thing for her. Yeah.
This didn't remind me. It was the next episode. Reminded me of some weird 80s shoujo comedy anime, and I suspect that is deliberate, but we can get to that next week.
This is the Umaru-chan director, which I never have ever seen any of, but people who like it really talk it up. I don't know if you've got this one, kind of like a good touch for this kind of stuff.
He goes back a long way to the 80s as an animator, so I might also. Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything else from. No, that's not true. I've seen things they've done that I don't like.
Like I think if you don't like random stuff, this isn't going to be your bag. But like, if you have a slightness in your heart for that done well, this is done very well. At least in the first episode, it was very funny.
Yeah, Umaru-chan, I don't have a problem with the cartoon. It's the general. It's just the general plot of the comic is my problem. The cartoon itself, from what I've seen, is perfectly well made. But yeah, this is more my sort of pace. It's pure absurdity. Then we've got applied absurdity in the form of Kinnikuman Perfect Origin Arc, episode 0, in which we recap 150 episodes.
I was going to say, how many years of Kinnikuman did I watch for this podcast? But with that little recap, like that was the thing I was curious about.
Better part of a decade, anyway.
Yes, because it's the original run, and then it's the like the shorter run, which just deals with the battle for the throne.
Yeah.
I have never seen any Kinnikuman. I'm familiar with it due to Ultimate Muscle. I was in the fucking 80s. Yeah, it's fine.
Kinnikuman 2.
But fucking what were those little plastic wrestler calls? Well, you know the ones I'm talking about.
Millions of unusual small creatures lurking everywhere.
That's the cunts. Yeah, the repackaged fucking thing. But other than that, no fucking clue. So this was fucking wild, and I loved it. It was great. I was like, I feel like I don't need to watch it because you've shown me like the best fucking bits.
Well, it makes you want to go watch it. It's like,
it does still make me
just
want to
pull
go
out
watch
like
it.
all the fun the series finale ones. They'll go wild in it.
Mm.
I mean, that was already like, again, I came up with Kinnikuman 2, Ultimate Muscle on the whole thing. I was like, oh yeah, that was really good. And then I remember I got some of that manga much later on and saying, oh yeah, it was like, it was pretty violent and they got away with it now, like sans blood, but you get all of that. And then you get stuff like in the comic where a dude's spine gets suplexed out through his back. And they did that and worse. And like some of these characters who are like in the gym recapping like all the stuff now have died, come back to life, been killed, and come back to life again after of wrestling matches.
So yeah, it's Kinnikuman and what the fuck is his
Terry
name?
Man.
Chris Man, Terry Man. Sorry,
Terry Man.
Terry Man.
Funk. He's
in
a man with the
ring.
powerful powers of Terry Funk.
Okay,
Yes.
he's a man with the power of not having a weird face. He just has a mostly like normal head, but he does have stars and blazons on his shoulders. They're having what's essentially like a boxing match. Texas rules is boxing, as far as I could. Oh wait, no, just kicks as well. Never mind.
It's kind of like the end of Rocky 3.
Yes, but it's the end of Rocky 3. But all of Rocky's past enemies are also standing around the ring. It's like, do you remember that time in Rocky 2? You know, like they're just doing that for the whole episode while two lads beat the shit out of each other in the fucking ring, which is really fucking funny, just as a premise to catch me up to the fucking plot of the show. Wonderful.
Yes, it was interesting seeing people comment when this came out, both in Japan and abroad, of people realizing like, oh, this is where so much of 80s onwards Shonen Jump comes from. The aligning with your enemy after you've defeated them.
The enemy has become so popular because we're facing off against the hero that he's got to do a heel turn and turn into a good guy. So when the next pile of enemies come, he's standing next to the hero, unless he gets brainwashed. And you know how this fucking.
Well, that's the whole thing. Because like when I said recapping this, and we face this like stable of evil wrestlers, but they're actually being controlled by a bigger, more evil stable of wrestlers from a different planet. But they're actually under the control of the reverse vampire wrestlers from this planet, and they're the guys behind the whole thing. So you can always just say they were just like under control of something else, and they can be like a good guy now if you want them to be.
When Buffalo Man and his guys showed up, like in Buffalo Man's in the gym in the episode, and Buffalo Man is like, "Hey, do you remember that time I showed up with all my fucking dudes, like the guy who's a spring, and we tore his Kinnikuman's baby apart, and we all took a piece."
That's his coach.
That's his coach. What I'm saying is they all took a piece of him, and it's like, if you want to put him back together, Kinnikuman, you have to defeat all of us. And I was like, well, he's dead, isn't he? It's like, no.
It was a special wrestling code that's to segment your body to different pieces.
I was just like, that's mad. And but I thought that was going to be the craziest part about Buffalo Man, but it's like, no, Buffalo Man received his powers from the devil, and I was like, fucking, this is amazing.
And when he turned face, the devil took over his body by forming the devil's face in his body hair on his chest.
No, he made all his skin burst off, under which of his skin was scars. And I was like, yeah, if all my skin came off, I would be a mess of scars, but no, like tiny little cuts. And all the cuts formed the face of the devil. And I was like, fucking hell, this is good shit.
And I saw that and I was like, oh, well, that's clearly where Mistburn came from.
Yeah. Oh, it's got the little fucking.
It's the same shape almost.
Yeah, 100%.
I wonder if Yuji Rohama got that with his back muscles.
And I know it wasn't as mad as.
Like, I'm not going to think of a magic. I'm going to do it for real.
Yeah. I know it's not as mad as being possessed by the devil, but that fucking whatever the fuck end of that arc was, where they had 5 wrestling rings stacked on top of each other, I was like, that's amazing. I fucking love that.
Well, I feel like we were all primed for this, but from Tiger Mask W in recent because they had that Aztec pyramid of wrestling which you gotta climb up.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. They did have that.
Yes, but yeah, it's basically a list of people who were bad guys who Kinnikuman fought, and now they're good guys and they're hanging out with him in the gym.
I noticed a bunch of them are hanging out with him, and I'm guessing the guys stayed evil or dead. There was a crocodile with the stitching for a shoe in his chest. I don't fucking what's that guy's fucking deal? I'll never know. But
it's always great when they're in a disguise and they whip off the disguise and they're the most weird bunch of guys you've ever seen.
It's like a normal, I mean, like gigantically muscular shaped guy in a cloak, and then he rips it off, and it's gold lightan, and I was like, "What the fuck? What are you doing here, man?"
Sunshine, that is.
Yeah.
Good shit.
No, well, he's not dead. He's in hiding, training more evil wrestlers. He's going to sick on Kinnikuman's son
Excellent.
in the second series.
Yeah, so this is based on a newer Kinnikuman series that began after they finished the one about the sun, and is still running to this day.
Well, got a lot of material to get through that.
Yeah, I think there's 2 complete arcs, so this looks like it's going to be the first arc, and then I assume if it does well enough, I'll do the second. And it's Masami Obari as the action supervisor.
Good man.
He's character designs are done by the brother of the pro wrestling Noah wrestler. It's Marufuji's brother. I can't remember what the first name of.
All right.
Yes, so Obari's brother is no longer the president of New Japan, so that connection's no longer.
Okay. I apologize if I got everything wrong. Like saying, is that Kinnikuman's son?
Right.
Is that Kinnikuman's grandpa? Like Popeye's grandpa kind of, or Popeye's papa? That kind of fucking situation.
The guy
with the beard.
And because
two beards.
Because it's a mask with a beard on it.
But it's like a mask with a beard in it, but it has like a beard growing through it, like with current. That's interesting. Yeah. It's good. I don't know anything about it. I'm going to get everything wrong, but I'm having a great time. Yes. So that's
I did see some people going, "Oh, it's a shame they haven't licensed the first series," and I have to go to them and say, "Brock and Junior will mean that nobody's licensing the first series."
I did know there was a Captain Nazi, and I thought they were very clever to hide his swastikas by making him wear full SS gear. And I was like, that's a choice. That definitely covers up the swastikas. Good job, guys.
Well, they changed his design in the sequel anyway.
But for the flashbacks, they
But now he just looks like a biker.
He's just wearing leathers.
It's weird that his dad looked less of a Nazi than he did.
Well, the next generation is gonna be like more extreme. You gotta push the gimmick a little further along.
Yeah,
he is a good Nazi because he's in the gym at the start, so he's grand. He's cool now. Don't worry about
it. He was really bad. They explained it was really bad to begin with. Yeah, obviously it's 79 is the comic, so it's just at the point at which Nazi gimmicks are passing out in real life wrestling.
And
being replaced with the evil South African, the evil Arab 70s anyway.
Evil foreigner.
From the oil crisis onwards, yes. So I'm going to guess it's Fritz von Erich was the original inspiration because it's got the turning baby face, the Nazi turns baby face, and also the son aspect of like this is the son of the guy who won the Nazi gimmick as well.
Once he survived anyway.
Because you just have to cast. You occasionally have to go. Okay, when was written, and what was wrestling like when this was written? And
and also what it's like now, because they make a point there, like when it's a shame that only Terryman and Geronimo, unless you just got about him and see how that get in. But anyways, they only kind of beaten it gotten here, while the rest of the guys are under like healing pods, and they gotta stay there until they're here. We got to manage the welfare of our wrestlers and make sure they're fit and not be running to main matches on them. Again, the pods cannot be opened until they've completed their healing thing. So again, it's a good way to kind of keep we can. Why doesn't the Robin Master swoop in and say today? Well, he's still in his healing pod. He was locked until he's finished his healing in 2 days.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, next week, episode 1, episode 2, because of the weird Netflix cannot deal with episode 0 in its numbering.
Fun. How are we feeling about Mamoru Miyano as well?
I love it. I think it's great. I think he's fantastic as the voice in both forms of the voice.
He's doing a bit more kind of serious stuff here. I kind of see how you will if it's going to be a particular kind of funny man when it's going to come out. Will we get the Pee Wee Herman inflection on him?
You do, because if you watch the music video he's done for the cover of the original theme, he's duetting with himself at the end as his singing voice and also the comedy singing voice of Kinnikuman for the final verse.
It'll be interesting when you have actually the characters Akira Kamiya is playing opposite him then.
Yes. And also whether he will get the job as Kenshiro in the new Fist of the North Star that's upcoming. Because clearly it's basically Ryo Saber is the only character who he is holding on with his hands. No one's getting that character until he's out of here. But everything else he just doesn't want to do anymore, does he? Because it's too difficult.
But he can't do Atataz anymore. It's too rough.
No.
He can't do the hours anymore.
Yeah.
He can do like, if it's an older dude, he can do like a very serious, deep voice, just fine. But other things are a bit more demanding.
Yeah, I don't really understand why you gave up Kogoro so early in Detective Conan. I don't know whether it's just in one of the weekly.
Yeah, it's just there's so much Detective Conan. Like it is like a 9 to 5 basically at that stage.
But something like City Hunter, we're just gonna just wheel out and it's having a couple of things happening to it now, but that's kind of good enough. The guy every once in a while is grand. I can do that.
Wait, are all these other characters cool? Because Kogoro is specifically not cool.
Well, Ryo Saber is cool, but he's also a dumbass. So there's this kind of duality there. Like Kenshiro was also very cool, but in his own way, he's kind of a dumbass.
Yeah,
yes.
You just would never say it to his face.
The only thing cool about Kogoro is when he gets knocked the fuck out, Conan fucking solves the crime for him, basically. So, and I know he's voicing him in that case, but he's not playing him. He's playing Conan playing him. So
Kinnikuman is a dumbass, but he's like a cool dude in a pinch when it counts.
Yeah.
Yes. Even if he, as we see, may try and escape the ring to avoid the fight entirely.
I would say like Goku, but Goku is like Kinnikuman is my understanding. Yeah.
Then we got MAYONAKA Punch, episode 1, The Cancelled Girl and the Sleepy Vampire, in which we are introduced first to our human lead, Masaki, who was a popular YouTuber who has been cancelled because she punched one of her co-hosts during a live stream.
I mean, like maybe she had a legitimate reason, but her co-hosts are her sisters, so it's that's.
This seems to be like the number one worry or threat, because this time has happened at Jellyfish in the Night, also cancelled because she punched out her best.
I figured there must have been some idol or YouTuber or some celebrity that punched someone out on fucking camera. No, but I mean, they must be drawing from the same source or something, right? There's just that's a great story, and they both kind of go at it at the same time.
It seems to be the one that's kind of guaranteed to bury you anyway.
The thing is, right? You can get very famous by punching the right dude, like that dude who punched that Nazi. That's
Brocken Jr.
Fucking go. No, you gotta find someone who's very punchable and punch it. Be the first to punch them. You can't just be in the queue for punching them. That's not good.
Yes, but this establishes the tone of the show is that we are not going to forgive any of these characters, and we're going to play their weaknesses for comedy.
Because even the sisters who are we're she finds out in Starbucks that she's been cancelled by her own sisters because they're doing a live stream going we're sorry about her, she's out of the fucking YouTube show, don't worry about it. But then they're because we're going to get more views and we don't give a fuck. But they're also being dicks about it, even though they're the victims essentially. It's just they're still kind of being massive assholes about it. It's but she's but I come up with the YouTube thing. I edit all the videos. It's we can just hire someone. And she's shit, they can do that.
We've gotten too big.
Cut to the dream of a horny pink-haired vampire who is dreaming of a naked woman inviting her to bite her neck, feast on her.
Make a meal out of me, I think is the line, yeah.
Yes, and she's so excited she rolls over into the sun, setting her hand on fire and waking her up from, we later learn, a 20-year sleep. Then she's set further on fire by her sidekick, who is another vampire. Is this Ichiko, the little one?
Yes.
Yes. who is running short of money because of terrible investments she's made over the past 20 years.
I blew it all on stocks, boss. I'm sorry.
I got into this thing called NewTube. It's like, what is this computer slab you show me, child? But it's just the vampire picks up on fucking the internet real fucking quick.
Well, this is like
Mostly,
that's how you know it's from your boy Kome's staff, because he also was somebody like placed outside of their own time and was quickly learn about this new era they've awakened in, but does it in short order because they're supremely skilled.
Also, Kome is smart and the vampires are stupid, because they both have their own internal monologue going on, which is not the same fucking thing, and they're thinking what the other person's thinking. Yes. It's like, no, they are not. After centuries together, they do not know how the other person is thinking, I guess.
We also get Masaki trying to audition new co-hosts who are evil people trying to exploit her recent cancellation, or weirdos and creeps.
Weirdos, creeps, trolls. The best one was the drunk who just wandered in. Like, that's the best candidate so far. Unfortunately, he wandered out again.
So it's like, I guess, but snap. Good density of joke there.
Yeah.
Loan sharks show up at the vampire's house.
Loan shark show up and she's like, all right, I got to take care of these for the master, because she's clearly formulating her master plan. I can see the way she's rolling on the ground in ecstasy, thinking about eating that woman from her dream. So she's obviously come up with a plan to fix all my stock problems. So if I just kill these loan sharks, and like takes out one, immediately falls down because her master has eaten all the fucking blood packs in the house for like 20 years. Like you'd be very hungry. And the loan sharks are like, oh Jesus, are you okay, little girl? Like, that's not good. We didn't want to kill you. We just want our money back. That's all we want.
Well, too bad. You will get devoured anyway.
Yeah.
So after getting kicked out of a ramen shop, Masaki decides to investigate a liminal place in the middle of the night.
It's going to be my thing now.
This was like, oh man, this is like the hospital where we first went, because it's like a spooky hospital. Now it's just me, drunk, on my own. Hey, this hospital's kind of spooky. Is that a fucking vampire? Jesus. All right, I'm out. I'm done with this whole fucking thing. The vampire's like, whoa. I just want to eat you. Like, calm down. Right?
You're the girl of my dreams.
It's a little nibble. Just a little chomperoo is all I want.
So Masaki runs away, ends up falling off the top of the hospital. He's rescued by a vampire who's called Leave. I guess it's Live. It's how it's spelled.
Live. I think is what they're saying.
Live.
So yeah.
Rescues her, and then they cut a deal, which is the end of the episode, where it's like, after I get 1 million subscribers, then you can eat me.
It's been a wacky, like, get rich quick, get views quick, get blood quick scheme on the way, boys.
Yeah.
Another great looking show.
And there's some bits I was just like, that, like, you can see the logic, because they're doing like a whole new world, like flying through the sky and everything like that. But you're like, wow, this looks great for me, the viewer watching the show. But then you're considering live stream is like it's gonna look like shit. So it's like that's gonna be the joke. Is like the vampire can do amazing things that will probably look terrible on YouTube. Yeah.
And they're just generally horrible people.
They're all going to get exactly what the fuck they deserve, it seems like, or turn into better people. Either or.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, like Leave as a vampire, or the people they've very much like what we do in the Shadows vampires. We're like, but there's like a couple of people just trying to get on, but they will just like kill people just indiscriminately because we're vampires. What are we supposed to do? Well, come on, Jesus, got my case about that.
Yeah.
And the credits obviously promises 2 more weirdos to. Actually, 3 more weirdos, I think, to join the group.
Yeah.
You have so many different monsters and things, because that's what the channel's going to be about. It's like, if we can leverage our monstrosity for fun and profit.
Yeah.
This because of also that they're making videos, making movies in a sense. This is fucking Vlad love all over again, isn't it?
It is, yes, that's exactly what I thought.
It is, but probably less old man nerdy because it's talking about YouTube shit. See,
that's a bit more contemporary, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the way to go about it.
Yeah, that's why I said if you preferred Mayonaka Punch to have been written by your GCSE drama teacher, then why not watch Blood Love? But yeah, this is both better animated and more accessible.
Well, no, that's not a fucking difficult bar just to leap there.
As much as I love Blood Love, I feel like it's
more
very
funny
much,
it's not about the animation.
I fall into the very narrow niche of people at which it was aimed at.
It's leveraged at this point. And you see, like, it works okay there. You cannot do the same approach for the Fire Hunter. We're trying to adapt a lavish fantasy novel. It's just you see the illustration, like every couple of pages, that's the best you got.
Chibi Godzilla raids again, season 2, episode 14. Pepper Farm up in smoke, as the title suggests. Chibi Godzilla tries to help out farming and just ends up setting everything on fire.
Which is fine because they only grow peppers, and like ideally, like searing a pepper, that's fucking delicious if you've ever done it, man. It's really good.
It's really good. One time.
It did seem that whatever he seared, they turned into peppers.
No, they only grew peppers. That's the thing. They planted lots of different seeds, but they only grow peppers, which is weird because none of us like peppers except for Rodan, who plants the seeds. Hey, wait a second. Dumb setup, dumb fucking joke, just funny overall. And also just like, just what was the other fucking jokes? Like Mothra doesn't like bugs or something.
Yes.
But she's referred
to as a bug monster, yes.
That awkward teenage phase she wants to get past.
Chibi Mecha Godzilla at this point has learned not to push things.
Yes. It causes him more hassle than it really should, but so yeah, he doesn't push it. Just good back and forth jokes as usual.
Then it is Suicide Squad Isekai, episode 5, episode that screams we were very close to deadline and we had to get it in on time.
Filler episode.
No, it's an advancement episode. It's just the back half looks considerably worse than the front half.
There is a montage that some of it is animated, but most of it is stills. The plot is Deadshot has ran out of bullets.
Yeah, that's the plot.
We need to get more bullets. The dragon is in the way, more bullets.
Also, finally get our things reset. Go to the gates, hope the transmission comes out, and we get the bombs reset, which they do. And they've got to go get more bullets.
We got to run back to where we came.
Yes, because they spend loads of time advancing, and then they have to walk back again. Yes, they have to go back, get the bullets. Luckily, the helicopter that Flag came in, that survived, he landed it. We should be able to use the helicopter and get all the bullets, except of course a dragon has set up home with the helicopter. And so we've got to fight a dragon, which will alternate between the most detailed, intensively looking dragon, and they will cut to our heroes, and we'll just be using digital zooms and stuff to try and hide the fact we had to finish this episode quick.
That fucking one where they're all running from above and they just sort of like group them together. That was like, that's nasty, man. Because it especially looks worse next to the very well animated dragon fire and that kind of shit. It's just. Yeah,
there's a particular kind of like running animation there. Maybe just did it again, like, but it's similar to one they use in the opening, things like that. Where it's like fun. They're really fucking pegging it, like that.
Yeah, going full like.
Yes,
full
reworking the arms. I think they might have been like some bits borrowed from that to get some of this together.
Yes, because it's interesting there. Because normally when an episode falls apart, you don't still have like cuts which look great. Because this is weird. It will go from a great looking cut to a terrible looking rushed cut.
Well, to start with, like, the back half is all like they're literally walking back the way they came, because it's like one montage that we got like fun do whatever we can to get this bit to focus to come out in some kind of a way, lads. Okay,
there's some bits where it looks like we must have clearly had to send this to a different studio very quickly to get them finished on short notice, because the
face has changed a lot.
So totally off model. But boy, that dragon looks good. I'm glad whoever spent that much better time drawing the dragon, and then more importantly later on in the episode, the cute chibi dragon that Harley becomes the mother to.
Obviously, she's going to adopt it because, but the thing of like, you get your standard like pegging it running animation that we can just copy paste and move around as necessary to the scene. And then you've like a scene like with Deadshot like running desperately away from a fucking dragon that there's like that looks really fucking good though. Like you've animated all the ground moving underneath him, he's tripping and falling, and I was just like, it's fluid and motion, and in contrast to the stock running animations, it's just like fucking hell, man. Just something didn't get done in time, and that's okay. Like because the bits that do look good look excellent. So
Yes.
Also, the jokes are still funny. So
might have had more time if it didn't just blow up 3 episodes at once. I've had a bit of a gap there.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. The jokes are still funny. And then they run into, looks like, Enchantress and the Thinker.
Yeah, as soon
Blowing
as
up all your orc friends.
As soon as they backtrack to the orc friend, it's like, hey, I'd see you guys later. I was like, oh, all these fucking orcs are dead. Like that was just as like, I'll see you later when we all
They're
retire.
Just like us, they're working off our sentences and death defying missions.
Yeah, you guys are cannon fodder. Sorry, dudes. Yeah.
That's what we call fridging. Fridge these works. That give you motivation.
Oh dear.
We also flag managers once they get on the helicopter and get the weapons. They can't use the helicopter anymore because it's full of
dragon shit.
Dragon nest. Yeah.
Yes. He does. Flag gets his radio, and we do get him contacting Amanda Waller, who tells them to take out the previous group who've sided with the Emperor.
Continue with the mission. So Flag has his orders and a radio. Deadshot has a whole bunch of bullets. Harley's got a dragon. Everything's fucking going well for the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I like the setup at the start of Harley arguing that all you need is a frying pan. You don't need these bullets, and then she gets a frying pan, and then proceeds to use the frying pan through an episode.
Just like Senshi, it's like, well, he got a lot done with a fucking Walkman. Impenetrable to dragon fire, never sticks, even with pancakes.
Or I like the idea. It's just like I want a frying pan because like clang cartoon fucking thing is like, but what if it could make my wok grow and you could hit someone like with it really fucking hard because now it's gigantic. It's like, yeah, that actually is a decent weapon then.
Well, her magic thing she imbues seems to make her really good at hitting things with sticks or other kind of objects like that.
See, the thing I never liked with Harley is like giving her like a baseball bat, which is like it's a club. That's a legitimate weapon. A frying pan, I know it's like the female coded thing, but it's also comedy coded, and it makes a funny noise when you hit someone with it. So it's just like, give her something funny to hit a guy with.
She needs something to hit her because it's like a Punch and Judy kind of setup there. She needs something to hit something with.
But like, I would lean more frying pan than baseball bat. It's funnier overall.
And more useful.
But yeah, that was it. It was a little disappointing in places, but it was also fascinating how it fell apart. It's rare. It's rare that you get an episode which fascinatingly falls apart.
Yeah.
Then I think there's only one thing left on the list, and that is Dungeon People, episode 2. Start working in the dungeon, in which this establishes itself as gentle comedy of a D&D nature.
Yes. There were some nice bits in it, but it wasn't in the right humor. Maybe I watched it like in a wrong time of the day, but it did have this very, I wouldn't say flat, but
I think I watched it in the right mood. Like I was just like relaxing in the afternoon, and I had a cup of tea. I was just like, I'll watch this in a relaxed way. Because some of these other things are very fucking high energy. This is not one of those things. You need to come to it with the right frame of mind, and I fortunately did. So yeah.
Yeah. So key things are they establish what the crystals are. So essentially, when you get a job working in the dungeon, it's you are possessing a copy of your own body. Inside the crystal.
So while our thief character is like, okay, when you go into the dungeon, you put your life on the line. It's fucking dangerous. But none of the monsters are putting their life on the line because they're controlling holographic crystal avatars of themselves. And when they die, it just causes the crystal to fall out of them, and they wake up in their own bodies downstairs, basically.
Some health insurance you got here.
And then she's like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense because how would the monsters replenish themselves so quickly in the dungeon after we fought them?"
Except they have a specific storage room that has monster meat. The monsters did consented in their contract, and I was like, "But the monsters don't fucking die in the dungeon. So where are you getting that monster meat?"
But they're still bodies. They're clones, aren't they? They're not like crystals.
No, but they like dissolve and turn it like.
Yeah, but they say the upper level ones don't do that. Remember?
Oh, the cheap monsters, like the crappy skeletons and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they
the
don't dissolve.
Not much meat in a skeleton.
Yeah.
A little, not much meat in that goblin either. Like that was a very skinny goblin.
It's very gamey. I suppose it has a marrow from the skeleton. It's kind of snap the bone. It's kind of slurp it. Make some broth out of that. There you got stew going on.
But yeah, so besides her filling in the health and safety and getting her own crystal going so she can do it safely, it's just like, oh yeah, it doesn't generate clothes. And I was like, you must know this. The goblins were all wearing pants. So this has clearly happened before.
Well, I get the impression she's not interested in the bodies of the goblins. By her Belle's embarrassment, I guess she is attracted to Clay.
They'll be their first best friends, Brian. Best friends.
Best friends, yes. Their first best friends. Also, everybody around the dungeon seems to know that Clay has no friends. They go, "Oh, you're the girl with no friends."
What's the diff? They know of her, but they've never seen her, like, ever party up. It's just,
yeah.
It's simplest explanation, right?
The dwarf who runs floors 1 through 4, which is the easy one, so it's not. They can just have one guy doing it. It's very easy fucking shit. And he has a bunch of golems helping him out. He has like a tracking device, like watching the adventurers move through. So I guess he's seeing her move through on her own. It's like, Jesus, okay. Like he's seen her do that several times over. Like
the tracking device is great because it looks like a classic TSR D&D module dungeon in the blueprint blue.
Like you see it in the ending and everything like that, but when they draw out it's a maze if it's one to the other, and it's a labyrinth if you're trying to get in the middle. Whatever. They're drawing out the fucking map, and it's all on a square fucking grid. It's all fucking right turn corridors, that kind of fucking thing. It's just like no, 5x5 fucking. It's 5 square, 5 foot by 5 foot, whatever.
It's either 5 or 10, depending on who. Era and time. It's so D&D, and particularly like classic D&D. The bit where they've got the pit where it's like you come to this spot in the dungeon, and there's just like a sheer drop, and you go down to the next level, and it's almost exactly the same bit. I'm sure I've seen that out of a specific dungeon that I've played through. Was
it Prince of Persia? Because you can just break this bit. Maybe these boxes go down to 2 floors. All right, I'll be right down. No, you just hit the lift. That'll take ages, man. I'm just going to wall run down. What? All right.
And
now you're giving the golems ideas about what they can't do. They're jumping after their deaths down fucking by the minute.
Golems are definitely not the minions.
No, but listen, they have
the same shape.
They have a stony face, so they're better because they shut the fuck up. That's important. And also they have big hands, which are adorable, as opposed to the minions' little creepy hands. I don't fucking like the minions' hands. I don't like it. These are better. I posit.
Rocks can't talk. Gotcha.
Also, like, you see a shot of, the aftermath of a bunch of golem rocks trying to fucking wall run, by which I mean a pile of golems just piling up on the floor. And I was like, and they don't say anything. They're just rocks. They're fine. And I was like, this is funnier than minions.
I don't know. Those minions are pretty funny in spots. The bit in the second Minions film where they're flying the plane.
What are little rock people?
Let's
imagine.
What if they shut the fuck up? Wouldn't that be better?
When we get the Guardian tour, we get me and Dwayne's backgrounds in the video version. Is we get the control room, which is just full of stuff.
It's like I gotta clean up in here. It's got like maps and fucking shite everywhere. It's like, all right, here's the storage room for the monster meat. They did consent to this, so this is perfectly fine. We've made the kitchenette smaller. Here is the room with like treasure and gear and magical items, that kind of thing. And here's the room for what was it like?
Things which might be useful later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Things that you don't need now, but they might be useful later, and you regret throwing them out. I think was specifically how it was sorted by, which is to say, a fucking chaos, and too true to fucking life. For
I was going to say personal attacks in this against myself. And
it got me though. It nailed me to the fucking wall, and I thought it was funny. So yeah.
So yeah, it's just setting up the fact that these are two lonely women, and now they'll have somebody to relate to. But Clay turns Belle down as being a best friend because that would be a workplace relationship, and we can't do that. Can't have a superior as a friend.
Well, I'm the boss, and it does nothing in your work contract that's a problem. So I think it's fine, actually. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like again, I don't like, and I'm not trying to logic it out. Like, what's the logic of where's the profit in what you're doing here? It doesn't matter. This is how dungeons work or have to work based off of.
Adventurers are going to drop their money when they kill them, so I guess you get that.
She's using very expensive crystals that she doesn't seem like. Pick your favorite gem out of that fucking big box of gems over there, and she's like, people are like venturing into the dungeon, risking their lives for these things that you just have random boxes around that you don't give a fuck about.
Look, I got a guy at Goblins up there who have families to feed at home, okay? And I'm trying to provide some kind of influence. Otherwise, you're going to be out there roaming around. No, if you're going to have violence, it may as well be organized violence, okay?
Yeah.
Because we do see a little bit of a venturing party who are complaining that they opened treasure chests and all they got was healing herbs.
Specifically on her job to replenish the healing herbs that in the treasures that had been taken on that level.
And we get a little of the narration explaining the economy of what's in the treasure chest. It's like healing herb is like the worst pull, but you keep hold of it because you might find other things you can combine it with to make more powerful items.
Or that, and like you can go through the dungeon, and if you get damaged, you got fucking healing herbs. So you can go a little further basically with it. So it's not. It sucks, but it's not the worst thing. It's better than nothing.
Well, these boxes are technically for level 3, but before we start level 2, but it's like, what do you think, boss? If I was saying, we're sure give him a little treat. It's all right. It'll be okay this time. So they're going to get better loot this time around if they come up.
And they mentioned that there's people on level 10 who will eventually introduce Clay to, because Clay wants to fight them to train to get.
Oh yeah, now that she has a holographic crystal avatar like they do, it's like, yeah, you can train and you not to
train
the
as
death,
much as you like.
So.
Yeah. Like I said, it's there's comedy there, but it's not rip roaring machine gun attack of my dear friend Nokotan. It is.
Yeah.
It is close to being the Dragon Birth section of Dragon Magazine, of like, here's a jokes about Dungeons and Dragons that will be funny to Dungeons and Dragons fans and nobody else. But luckily, I'm the sort of person who got excited when he saw that particular shade of blue on a map.
Frosty and Rush.
Yes, very much.
It's probably still an introductory phrase. Maybe I should watch it at a different time of day. It's it was laying down a couple of things here, and maybe need to get a bit of steam up on it.
Yeah, because it's clear from the opening that there's other characters to be introduced along the way. So far, the new character we've had introduced is the dwarf, and I guess the golems, but they're
that's
silent mime characters. Yeah, and was there anything else we watched?
Yeah,
nothing new anyway.
I watched One Piece 1111 because I was like, I gotta watch that one. I was just like, yeah, I remember this happened ages ago.
That's how, like, when you're like driving the car and it's like, it's going to turn over on the mileage. It's like, oh well, I gotta witness this.
Yeah. What else did I watch? I watched the first episode of Tower of God. It's like, here's a recap. Remember this guy? Remember him getting kicked off the top of the tower? Now he's to start from the bottom again. It's like, well, now it's about this blonde guy, and I was like, for fuck's sake. I think the long-haired dude is the guy from the last series, that he's joined some evil organization and something, but I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Gentle spirit, his smile gone.
Yeah, he's been corrupted by the thing, and I don't know. Well,
By
I guess
betrayal
we'll see.
or something.
I was curious to see Sengoku Yoku episode special Siblings for the World Reformation arc in 24 minutes. It's like I remember this. It wasn't that long ago. So obviously it was good. I just left it on in the background.
If you don't, if we're saying it wasn't like all like opening and closing credits, it means you go get 2 minutes per episode, wrap it up. It's like okay.
Yeah. And Red Cat Ramen. I was hopeful because the first third was one comic, and I was like, all right, good job. So the second half is going to be the tiger in the noodle room. I was like, so you can do the YouTuber coming in and being a dick, perfect, and then you can do them pushing the tiger handmade paw-made noodles. In the third part, it's like, no, it's just the YouTuber stretched to like the second 2/3 of the fucking thing. It's like, God damn it.
You say that, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
I watched this as well. It completely comes undone once they have to fill the restaurant, by the way, in terms of what it looks like. It looks terrible once they fill the restaurant with all the CG.
The CG humans, yeah.
Humans.
Yeah.
Thought density would cover it up, did they?
But after the credits, there was a bunch of shorts animated in a completely different fashion. And I was wishing, why does it look like that? Why did you not make it look like that all the way through?
Why aren't they like little 5-minute bits?
Yeah, that too. Like the way they move is very cartoon and cat-like in the end, whereas the other one is just like, here's a CG cat going like, do, I'm a fucking robot cat. And
here's how the figures will move when we produce them.
I said I would do the cruelest possible thing to it when I watched it. I would read the latest issue of Red Cat Ram that came out this week and then watch the episode, which I did. And it had some great tiger faces. This one had shit tiger faces. So it did much more in comparison. And I was just like, you fucked up. What are you going to do?
Well, it's doing well selling manga. So
as long as it brings more attention to the comic, the comic's great. So
it's some kind of producer style scheme where it's just like, oh yeah, well we expect to animate a tank because that means more people will pick up the comic.
Yeah,
it's kind of coming and going.
Make people aware that this thing exists, and then you could go and read the original.
That's a cute idea. Is a version that doesn't look like cardboard cutouts? Yep, that's it's funny you should say that. That's not on cardboard; it's on paper, or possibly online if you read it online. But it will be on paper eventually.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't want. Red Cat Ramen was the only other thing which tempted me.
Yeah.
So I just watched the Hedge to Kinnikuman next one because I was too excited to wait. It's like, this is pretty fun. And I naturally it's going to slow down a lot. They threw a lot at you.
Yes.
That kind of pacing again, so just bear with it.
That's okay.
Yeah. So that's it for now. Ta-ra for now.
All right. Later, Gator.